Y'all remember my little dog I got? My little dog went down to Georgia, little bloodhound. Yeah, Lucy. She's about 4.5, 5 months old now. She's doing great. But this is the situation I'm in. Welcome to my life. This is my Husqvarna Mower. Had it about 8 years, bought it brand new, and as puppies do, she decided to chew through the entire wiring harness, the entire thing on my Husqvarna. So here we are today, tearing down the Husqvarna and rewiring it. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna do a. My daddy always told me poor folks have poor ways. Well, I'm gonna rewire this thing redneck style, and it's gonna work, and it'll work fine, but it ain't gonna be like it was, and there won't be any safety mechanisms on it. So, yep, this is my world today. All right, so this is where we are. I originally was gonna replace all this wiring and just straight wire everything, which in essence I'm kind of doing already. But after tearing this thing apart, and keep in mind this mower's 8 years old, motor's strong, doesn't smoke, but the transmission's getting a little weak in it. Deck's about shot. So I really don't want to. I'm trying to get through. I don't really want to buy a mower. Can't really buy a mower right now. I need to make this one work. Um, but after tearing this thing apart, this is kind of where I stand. I think I'm gonna use this wiring harness and just put it together the best I can. And so what I got here, you know anything about these PTO switches, you know that on the side that says NC, that's normally closed, or normal condition when it's closed, which means these outside prongs are making contact. You pull the switch open, and now the middle and the outside, the part that says COM on it, in the middle are now making contact. So what I did was I basically took out of this switch, the PTO switch, I took out the magneto line and this green line, which best I can tell is the safety side of it. So basically, when the switch is open, these are making contact. So if your butt comes out of the seat, it kills the motor. So I'm taking off that safety function, and I'm just keeping the solenoid lines, which switch has to be closed for the motor to start. Can't start with the PTO on. And then you've got your power in and power out to the PTO. So I'm just keeping that in that switch. On the starter side, I've got the light line that I'll keep. The ground wires I'll keep. This is the solenoid wire. It sends power to the switch in the solenoid to send power to the starter. And you've got the magneto lines that killed when the switch is turned off. It kills the engine. It shorts out the spark to the spark plugs. You got your battery in, and then your power out on your A1 side, which that will run to the power meter, to the PTO switch, and then down to the solenoid at the carburetor. And so that's the switch, starter switch. On the back side, you've got your battery. Then they're all marked with letters. So B's battery, M's magneto, S is solenoid. A2 is the safety side. All the switches, the seat safety, the brake safety, the PTO safety. I just took those out. I'm hoping I don't. If I have to, I would run a jumper and close that circuit. But right now, I just took all that out of the switch. Your A1 is the power going out to power your power meter, your PTO switch, and a solenoid on the carburetor. L is light, and then G is the ground. So I think I'm going to keep the wiring harness, wire this thing up like that, and let her roll. The only thing that has me a little bit confused is down here on the motor, and I'll let you know how this goes. I do know that red is the voltage regulator. I do know the black is the magneto lines, and the gray is the solenoid switch on the carburetor, which basically just is a switch that opens up fuel to the bowl, the carburetor bowl. Well, if you look on this, the power for the solenoid goes into this blue, which then has a jumper that comes down here to the voltage regulator side. The black in the center, I'll just wire up to the switch to kill the power to the magneto. Then I've got the blue, the power into the solenoid. What has me a little bit confused is that the blue and the red on the voltage regulator are jumped together. When I first took this switch apart, I had this white wire that I don't know what really goes to, but it was in this switch or in this connector to nothing, an empty hole, nothing connect to it. So I moved it down to connect to the voltage regulator side. And once I get everything wired, if there's 12 volts on this wire, I'm going to run this back to the battery so that the engine can charge my battery. I'm starting to wonder if I ever had that on this mower. Because, like I say, when I pulled this out, this was connected to nothing. There was just mud packed in behind this wire, and it had nothing running to it. So we're going to see how that goes. So that's the only thing that I'm really a little scratching my head about. So we'll see how that goes. All these wires were all the junk, the safety junk. Those will be cut out and removed. This is the PTO wire, the power going into the PTO. And this is, again, I don't know, more junk for safety stuff. So we're going to cut all that out. So we're going to see how this goes. I'm going to wire it up, and fingers crossed it's going to work, and the mower's going to crank, and the PTO is going to engage the blades. So I'll let you know. All right, we got it all back together. Now the moment of truth. Will she fire? Well, she's running good. Got her put back together, and it's cutting just fine. Now, I did this video not as a tutorial on how to rewire a Husqvarna riding mower, because what I did was basically, and it kind of changed. I was going to straight wire it, but either way, ended up not doing that. Ended up using the wiring harness, but I bypassed all the safety functions. So I'm not telling you how to do it. I'm telling you what I did. But I'm hoping this video is a motivation for you folks out there to, if something's broke, don't throw it away. Try to fix it. If this old country boy can get in there and figure it out and fix things, then so can you. So appreciate it. Catch you on the next one.